if you consider this thing from a celestial standpoint, and who may be running the show at a still higher level, I think it's very cogent and very real. And I do think, looking at some tons of books and material that's been available, that there is enough material available to support the idea of a complete web, a spider web, if you will, of interlocking directorates, interlocking think tanks, and people on this planet who take their orders from one institute as to how things are going to go here. Now, the big question is, and of course most of these people, like...
who's pulling the strings? Who
right,
runs
exactly,
this institute? Because
exactly.
this is on the terrestrial, material, earthly level.
Exactly.
But obviously this institute interfaces somewhere, as Standeo in his brilliant book Cosmic Conspiracy says,
right.
that some of the members of the Illuminati Politburo border on the paranormal, as I think Alem Bielekiem said, in their attempt to identify these people. Obviously these are extraterrestrial, alien, or spiritual being members that materialize for the Politburo meeting and then dematerialize, and that's why the FBI and the CIA cannot locate them.
Well, I can say flatly from people I've known who are connected with the Order of the Illuminati that they aren't bordering on unusual abilities. They have them, or they're not a member of that organization. They have to be able to see through time. They have to be able to demonstrate extraordinary psychic abilities, remote viewing and all of this sort of thing, and what else, I don't know. But those abilities must be there. They must be able to demonstrate their use at any time, and of course, for what purpose? The purpose has to be to communicate with somebody off-planet. All the inputs I have say that the Order of the Illuminati is a top dog organization on this planet which interfaces with outside. And that they
and has done so for the last 5,000 years.
10,000 from what I understand.
And the outside aliens that come to the planet are themselves subjected to these hierarchical levels of intelligences, of attainment, levels of management, where the more advanced races and civilizations tutor, manage, or control the lower ones. And so basically they are subcontractors of higher levels of contractors that are again subcontractors to higher levels and so on until we reach the very pinnacle of this celestial pyramid. That's why I consider the Urantia book not as the ultimate source but as one of the extremely important sources in trying to elucidate the secrets of the higher management levels of one of the power centers that runs our universe.
Right. That I'll agree with, because you have evident at least two different celestial systems, two different theologies.
And we have 2 more minutes.
As to who is going to run what. According to the Rancher book, you have the Trinitarians,
hierarchy,
who of course are now thoroughly embedded in the Catholic Church, and others who believe in the Holy Trinity. This is one of their symbols. And you must accept the authority of this group, and it goes on up, of course, through the hierarchy. But you then have the Luciferians, who believed in and rebelled against God, so to speak, in the Trinitarian operation, because of the fact they believed in the public and the individuals having some right of free choice. And this is what our Constitution is based on, the right of free choice. And there are some people who have traced, of course, the Masonic order, and those who were all part of it at the time of the signing of the Constitution and the creation of the Constitution, that many of these people might have some, quote, Luciferian connections, unquote, and in terms of the then accepted religious orders. Well, they were Masons, and they, of course, we know the Masons go to a higher level in the 33rd degree. They do go to a 37th degree. And
this is the final minute here, so probably we'll have to
wrap it up.
And I think this is a brilliant topic for our next discussion, and probably it would be a nice idea to call Ted Gunderson as a leading authority here in Los Angeles and the United States and probably the world on satanic cult and satanic abuse in order to further discuss the presence of the Luciferian operation on this planet.
You know, the satanic cults and the use of kids for their sacrifices and worships is much more widespread than most people believe, and what the true significance of this is probably is for discussion which would go on for hours.
But your feeling is that all these underground black project operation in cooperation with aliens, that the level of aliens that you personally have interfaced in your presence in the underground, that these are just the lowest levels of creatures that contact us, and that there are many other higher levels of hierarchies that control them.
Very true. There are other levels that are far beyond those of the reptilians, and people who perhaps were the actual precursors of humanity ages and ages ago, and they keep way in the background, and they don't interfere unless something is absolutely necessary to interfere about. And they have the power, and they just don't exert it unless it is absolutely essential.
Unless we are on the verge of blowing the whole planet, as was done on numerous occasions by many of our alien tutoring races. Even it happened in our solar system when the planet beyond Mars, between Mars and Jupiter, was blown in a fiery explosion more than 100,000 years ago. Anyway, thank you very much for your time and your attention. Coming to you directly from the American Academy of Dissident Sciences. This is the third underground interview with Alem Bielek and Vladimir Terziski, and we will be happy to bring you in the future more and more interesting topics of discussion. Thank you very much, and have a good night.